left team.
4 o'clock. Let's do it. We are live, and it's Friday, the best MLB betting day of the week, in my opinion. There's 14 games because the Cubs are already playing. Yo, thank God we laid off the Cubs bet, by the way, because we were looking at Cubs first 5, ended up backing off. They're down like 6-0 or some shit. So we dodged a bullet there. 14 games tonight. Some good ones. If you follow me on Twitter, I actually posted on YouTube too. There's 5 underdogs I like today. Well, if you didn't see it, it's fine. We're going to get to them. The dogs are going to be barking tonight. I actually, last Friday I was pissed. I remember when we did the live show, I was like, this sucks. I love Fridays, and I didn't see a lot of value. Not the case today. I'm pumped. I'm betting irresponsibly tonight. No NBA. I'm going all in. Yeah. So 14 games. We should probably get started. First one's Dodgers at Rays, and my pick hasn't changed from last night. It was over 9 last night. It's definitely a little public. Seems like a lot of people are on the over, but I don't care. I'm sticking with it. Over 9. Same reasoning that I had last night. Tampa Bay, obviously first versus right-handed pitching in the MLB this year. Syndergaard on the road is laugh out loud funny. And Prop Beaver actually just brought to my attention about 10 minutes ago that the Rays are starting 6 lefties in their lineup tonight. Just to 5. Just to truly screw Syndergaard over. Rays should definitely hit this guy. On the other side, you got a bullpen day for Tampa Bay. The Rays bullpen not performing at the level that we're accustomed to seeing them perform at. Dodgers should definitely put up runs. If I was forced to pick the side, I would probably take the Dodgers. I know, even with Syndergaard, but I feel safer just on the over. Where are you guys at on this one?
You go first.
I'm just sticking to what I know best. Dodgers team total over 4.5 at plus 100. It might be a little bit, the odds might have changed on that, but I just like this Dodgers to score on, like you touched on, Kyle, the pen for the Rays, it hasn't been what we've seen. I'm not really in love with Jalen Beeks in the first place. Dodgers have really been hitting left-handed hitting pretty well over the last month. So Dodgers team total over 4.5 for me.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Kyle, with that over. I just see so many ways that we could get the over. I mean, first of all, it could be an offensive explosion through the first 5. We could see Syndergaard give up 5 or 6 runs like he has multiple times on the road this season. We could see the Rays bullpen blow up from the get-go with Cooper Criswell and Beek starting off the game, 2 guys I'm not very high on. The Dodgers offense still rolling right now, still producing runs. And on the other side, while the Rays have been a bit worse against righties as of late, I think Syndergaard is what the doctor ordered for them because this guy is next level bad on the road. Adding that the Dodgers bullpen, while great, could be suspect at times. And I just think ultimately, even with the public on it, it's hard not to get to the over here.
Definitely agree. It worries me a little because it almost feels too easy. But definitely not getting scared off this one. Let's move on to the next game. And we got White Sox at Tigers. I'm not backing off my bet, but I admit this is definitely not one of my favorite bets of the night. I'm sticking to what I said last night. I'm backing Mr. Lynn. Chicago first 5, -0.5 run. It was at plus 100 last night. I'm not going to put the odds up because I didn't even check. I didn't place this bet yet. I will be placing it, but it didn't even make the ticket. In case you didn't watch last night's video, quick explanation of why I'm here. Lance Lynn, since joining the White Sox 2.5 years ago, has just owned this Tigers team. He's had 5 starts against the Tigers as a member of the White Sox. White Sox are 5-0 in those games. Lynn's got a 2.63 ERA and a 1.28 WHIP in those 5 starts, so he truly has had a ton of success pitching against the Tigers as a division rival. Lance Lynn also coming off back-to-back starts, so I mean, Lance Lynn is always the type of guy that's going to be up and down the whole season. So just because he has back-to-back starts doesn't mean he figured it out. I don't put a ton of weight in that, but still, I don't know if there's any. I don't have numbers to back this up, but I feel like I trust Lance Lynn in these division games more. I feel like he's the type of guy. He's a experienced pitcher. I feel like he's the type of guy that can get a batter out that's seen him 20 times. I don't know if that makes any sense. Just like a high baseball IQ type of guy. There's, like I said, I don't have numbers to back that up. It's just the feeling I get from him. It also could be the fact that the AL Central has no offense, so he pitches well against them because none of those teams can fucking hit. And then on the other side, that adds to this bet, Joey Wentz is basically throwing home run derby at this point. I didn't even write his numbers down for today's notes, but I said them last night. They're like laugh out loud funny. Like, wow, this dude still has a major league contract, huh? White Sox bat's starting to come alive a little bit against lefties, so I feel pretty safe here at plus 100 even money.
Yeah, I think if I had to give a lean for this game, it would definitely be under 8.5 at plus 100. Yes, I know that they scored 9 runs yesterday, but I think that if Giolito wasn't handing out walks like candies, he had 7 of them yesterday, would have been a much more low-scoring affair. Simply put, the White Sox don't impress me. I know Joey Wentz sucks, but it's not like he goes out there every single game like Corbin did last year and throws horrible performances. He did face Cleveland, who's weak against lefties. He pitched 5 2/3, allowing just 2 earned runs. He did the same at home against Baltimore, a team that smashes lefties. He did the same at home against Giants, a team that struggles against lefties, similar to the White Sox. So I think that after yesterday, people are overreacting. I know most of the public and most of the money is on the over here, and there's been zero budge in the line. On top of that, Lance Lynn, as Kyle said, does have great history against the Tigers. And the bullpens are both rolling. The White Sox, last 8 games, they've gone under. The game total has gone under 7 times, and they're averaging 5.4 runs per game. 5.4. That is insane. Even their last 8 of 11, it's 11 of 14 have gone under, averaging just 6.2. So if you're getting that at plus money, I just think it's really hard to pass up. And yeah, that's my spiel for this one.
Yeah, the White Sox, those games are like 3-1, 2-1, 4-1. No one's scoring in White Sox games. I completely get it.
I'm on the same bet as you, Kyle, and I don't really want to talk about it. But I did bet it. The only thing, look, Lance Lynn has screwed me so many times. He's a really cool guy. I will say this. I can't remember who posted it, but I copied it down. He's been one of the most unlucky pitchers in Major League Baseball this year. He has an ERA of 6.28, but his FIP is 4.71. If you take ERA minus FIP, that's 1.57. That's by far the unluckiest guy. Him, Wheeler, Gilbert, among the other guys in that category. And his Sierra's at 3.78. So he actually has been pitching fine if you take out all the bad defense behind him. And as you stated, that White Sox bullpen has actually been pretty damn good with Graveman, Kelly, Lopez, Santos, all those guys. So bummer. So yeah, I'm on the White Sox here, and I like that under beef.
Cool. Moving on. Rangers at Baltimore. Definitely not off this pick. Loved the Rangers last night. Still love them today. You're on Baltimore?
Oh, hell yeah. Third game.
You're about to take a hard L.
I know, because you hate Grayson Rodriguez.
No, that isn't why. That isn't why. So I actually said on YouTube last night that John Gray's recent numbers look great, but they're definitely inflated. He's had some easy starts. I admitted
the
that.
luckiest pitcher in the league.
Yeah, I admit this bet has nothing to do with John Gray versus Grayson Rodriguez. Despite John Gray's numbers look insanely better, I admit that I think it's about a wash, maybe even slightly towards Baltimore. This bet is based on the spot. Baltimore just played 6 consecutive road games at Toronto, at Yankees, no days off to come home and immediately start a series against Texas. That means a lot less to them. Meanwhile, Texas had a day off. Before that, they played 9 NL games in a row. They've had this series circled against Baltimore for 2 weeks. This is the biggest series Texas has had in about 2 weeks. Meanwhile, Baltimore, this is the part of the schedule that they have circled just ended. Not saying Baltimore won't take a game or two with this series, just the first one without a day off. And Texas has been waiting for this game. Definitely on the Rangers. And the line movement helps me out here, too. When I gave this out last night, it was at plus 115 down to plus 105. Definitely on Texas here. And I have to take a piss. I'll be right back. So, Yoki, you go first because I want to see what Toast Bum-Ass says about Baltimore.
I mean, I guess from a spot perspective, I respect the pick. I don't personally love it. I don't trust that bullpen at all whatsoever. I don't trust John Gray at all whatsoever. And I do think Grayson Rodriguez is a bit better than he's shown. But as Kyle said, the spot is a bit whack for the Orioles. Not really in love with this game, but if I had to pick something, let me say I do like Grayson Rodriguez over 5.5 Ks at plus 100. The Rangers have been striking out at a much higher rate on the road than they are at home. And I'm just trying to pull the numbers up real quick. And while Grayson Rodriguez, yes, he's gone under his last 3 or 4 starts with 3, 4, and 3, and then 6 against Toronto. He started off the season hot as hell with 5, 6, 8, 6, and 9 Ks. He already saw Texas this season at Texas, where they're much less whiff heavy, and he still managed to get 5 Ks against them. And on top of that, it was his MLB debut. Now he's going to face them at home, and I think that he could get them here. I think that they're in a much more vulnerable spot. If we're looking purely over the last 30 days at Texas's K percentage on the road against right-handed pitching, they are bottom 10. They're sitting at a 25.3 K percentage. And ultimately a plus 100, I'm willing to take that risk with Rodriguez.
So you said over 5.5 Ks.
Yes. One last thing I want to add is the last 8 of 12 righties to face Texas have gone over their mark, averaging about 5.5.
Okay. Over Ks. I'm not scared of that bet. Now you're going to hear a load of bullshit from Toast about giving you reasons of why he's taking a losing bet tonight.
So listen, I was like kind of never on that Baltimore train. I was on it a little bit, and I'm all aboard now. This team is just different. And one of those things that I want to say is that this team isn't like newly found good. They've been a top 5 team in Major League Baseball since Adley Rutschman was called up last year. So not saying that you were saying this, but this idea that they're this newfound team is kind of like a fallacy. They've been playing good baseball for almost 2 years now. John Gray, like I said, one of the luckiest pitchers in Major League Baseball. That FIP, our ERA minus FIP that I was just talking about, he's at a 1.80. That's second. The only person that has worse than that is Chris Bassett. So remember that the next time he pitches, possibly. But to that, I will say that Baltimore, spot-wise, yeah, I guess you could say that after playing division rivals and stuff like that. Maybe if they were crossing time zones or something, I would worry about it. But a couple other numbers that throw me at Baltimore. 15-8 15-8 at home, 19-5 as a favorite. It's just I got to keep rolling with the Bird Gang.
That's an L. That's a hard L. I want you to go to Google and type in what is a flat spot in betting and read that.
Yeah, but they play different at Camden Yards, bro. Like, I don't know.
Their offense is actually worse at Camden Yards in terms of against righties. They're only 15th in WRC plus on the year compared to 5th on the road. But one thing I said to Kyle yesterday that he apparently didn't give a fuck about is that the Texas Rangers on the road against righties also see a big drop off in production, going from 1st to 16th. And on top of it, the righties to face them lately have actually been doing quite well against them. He didn't want to hear it. He likes the Rangers. We're going with the Rangers. We'll see how it goes.
Keep in mind, too, the Rangers just played the horrible Pittsburgh Pirates, and they scored, like, runs the first inning, the first 2 games, and then they were, like, non-existent. They might have got some runs in the late and stuff, but, like, this, I'm not really impressed with the bats from Texas right now, personally.
Because it was a look-ahead spot. They've had the series circled. They're looking ahead to this game, coming off a day off. All right, let's move on to the next one. And the next one is Padres, Yankees. Maybe Toast could shed some light on this one. I passed because I don't know who the hell Randy Vasquez is. I wanted to bet the Yankees, and real quick before they take the mic, look at the line movement. They're begging me to bet the Padres, I feel like. I mean, this morning at 4 a.m. it was plus 105. Last night it was like plus 120. This line has moved 25, 30 cents. I saw Padres is at minus 140 when it opened. It's down to, what is it, at minus 115 now? Serious line movement. I guess I would say Yankees or pass, but I feel more comfortable staying off personally.
Yeah, I'm on the Friars, so I don't know. I mean, so it is what it is. I wasn't on them yesterday. They got pretty lucky. If anybody bet them yesterday, minus 1.5. I mean, I know a couple of people were on them. I was on Washington, but Musgrove's the guy that I trust. And look at the teams that he's faced this year: the Giants, the Dodgers twice, Boston, at Arizona. I mean, all those teams are really good hitting teams. So this, like, he's not just going to go into Yankee Stadium and be worried about it. The Yankees just got done playing Baltimore and got whipped up. That offense didn't look that great in that series to me. A couple Judge home runs kind of saved that, but yeah, I just think that they have the better bullpen right now. That Yankees bullpen is average at best right now. I'm just not seeing it. I know that the Padres bullpen's a little bit worked with Hader and everybody going yesterday, but I still think that guys like Tim Hill and whatever should be able to at least get through this Yankees lineup. Like I said, I'm not scared of this Yankees lineup personally.
It looks like the comments are definitely on the Yankees. I saw Hairston on the Yankees. I will say that when I first wrote down Yankees or pass for this one, it was like plus 110, plus 113 on a couple books. Now that it's at minus 105, it's more of a straight pass. Like, I suppose you could make the argument that the books overplayed their hands, dropping San Diego to minus 115 against a rookie pitcher. But it's still a pass for me. What about you, Prop Viewer?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't trust the Padres right now. I witnessed them in person play a pretty pathetic Royals bullpen and have the bases loaded 3 times, and they couldn't do anything with it. I forget what they were yesterday, but I think they were 1 of 16 as a team with runners in scoring position, which sounds crazy, but that's what it showed on ESPN. I think they're very reliant on the home run ball right now, and honestly, they could keep it going against Vasquez. I do not know that much about him, but personally, this is just a pass for me. I don't trust the Padres. I think the Yankees are not playing as good as baseball as people think right now, as Toast said, so just going to pass here. No need to force anything.
Sounds good. Let's move to the next one. Game 6 is St. Louis at Cleveland. Give me the Cards. I'm on the Cards here.
Hell yeah.
Definitely, right? When I did the YouTube video last night, it was at plus 105. I haven't checked if that moved. You know what? I probably should take a minute and see, so I'm giving out accurate stuff here.
I think the best you could get as plus 104 on Barstool, but most of them have it around minus 105 right now.
Okay, so you know what? I did. It was minus 105. You're right. When I made that graphic earlier. So still get them as a dog. The line movement only confirms my thoughts on this. Real quick, in case you didn't watch the video last night. I know that Liberator doesn't strike a ton of confidence into you, but he blanked the Brewers in his first start this season. A team that can't hit lefties. Here he is again. I believe that first start was on the road in Milwaukee too. Here he is again, pitching against another team that can't hit lefties. Cleveland's 29th in OPS versus left-handed pitching on the season. They've been at the very bottom of baseball against left-handed pitching this whole season. And meanwhile, on the other side, it's the complete opposite. You got Shane Bieber pitching. Cardinals in the last 14 days, first in baseball against right-handed pitching. Cardinals are smashing righties right now. Prop Bieber's about to tell you a couple reasons of why Shane Bieber is due to regress. I put him in the YouTube video last night. Those are actually his notes, not mine, so I'll let him say it. But yeah, definitely on St. Louis here.
Toast, actually, can you go first? Because I need to go find those notes.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. So for me, with the Cardinals, like I honestly think that they're one of those teams that you can start taking a look at and think of them. You can almost like disregard what you thought of them earlier in the year. I just think that it's a completely different team. I'm hoping that the Padres are type of like that as a personal thing with that Odor home run yesterday. Sometimes things just click. Baseball is a funny, weird sport. Like half the time things don't make sense. And I just think that the Cardinals team is rolling right now. And Liberatore, like Kyle pointed out, against Milwaukee, a team that hits righties pretty damn well. He doesn't hit lefties well. I get that. And when going 5 innings and not giving up a run, I just don't think that you have to worry about that. That Cardinals bullpen has been, okay. But, as far as Bieber's concerned, like, I just don't trust him. Like, I just don't think that that's what – the Mets were really struggling when he faced them. The White Sox really got to him good. Detroit, again, are you really going to be impressed with shutting out Detroit? I understand he went 2 innings or 8 innings against the Yankees, only gave up 2 runs. But it's just one of those things where I just think that his numbers are a little bit better than I think they are that he's pitched. But 13-8 last year, he's 3-3 this year. It's not like they're always winning when he's out on the mound. So if you're going to give me this Cardinals team that absolutely hits right-handed pitching right now at a plus price, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, I'm all over the Cardinals with you guys. If you look on back to last season, sure, backing Liberator on the road, it's a bit terrifying. His 8.06 ERA, 4.51 WOBA, and 2.01 WHIP was truly horrendous. But one thing I must say is that this is one of the most highly regarded prospects in the Cardinals system, a system that produced Nolan Gorman, Alcantara, Gallen, Adolis Garcia, Patrick Wisdom, Randy Arozarena. They breed talent left and right, and I trust his talent. I know they traded half of those guys, but still, they were
Also, Beavers, those road starts, Atlanta, Philly, those aren't easy spots either. So, I mean, those lineups can fuck.
Oh, they fuck. They fuck. All right. Yeah. And I think that with work over the offseason, he's really looked solid as a whole. He already had an impressive start in the majors against Milwaukee. Yes, they struggle against the lefties, but I mean, the Guardians are right there with them. They're hanging in. Also, he's posted some really excellent numbers in AAA, which were far better than his 2022 numbers. So he looks like he's improving. I don't really need to say how bad the Guardians are against lefties. 30th over the last 30 days, 29th on the season. They stink. I mean, the White Sox went into the Guardian Stadium, played a terrible baseball, and still walked out with a series win. This team is truly bad. And let's talk about Bieber real quick, because I'm just not a fan of this guy. While his ERA isn't showing it, he's quietly having his worst season since his rookie year. His 12.1 K to BB percentage is the lowest of his career. His 254 OBA is one of the highest of his career, and his 492 expected ERA is also the worst of his career. That expected ERA is a whole 1.9 points higher than his actual ERA. Cards are still second in WRC plus against righties over the last 2 weeks, and they gave Arenado and Goldschmidt the day off yesterday. Think they hit up Bieber here, and a slight bullpen edge for the Cards. Can't pass it up. The Cardinals are just simply the much better baseball team right now.
No doubt. No doubt. We're all on the same page. Love it. Let's move on to the next one. Phillies at Braves. I passed on this one last night, and I'm still passing. I was hoping maybe the line movement would push me towards like an Atlanta first five. That would probably be the bet if I have to do it, but Jared Schuster, no. So I'm just going to pass on this one. I think Prop Beaver's passing too, so are you passing?
Nah, I mean, if I actually kind of like the Braves' first five run line here at -105. I don't really care that Jared Schuster sinks. He actually had a great start against Seattle in his last start, who has been hitting lefties a lot better as of late. So he had a great start against Seattle. And on top of that, really, this is more of just a fade against the Phillies offense against lefties. They've been so dreadful against them all year. 27th against them on the road, 27th over the last 2 weeks against them. It's just not an offense that produces against lefties. And then on top of that, Taijuan Walker has had some nightmarish history against his Braves team. If you look at his last 3 games against them, he's rocking an 0-2 record, a 14.63 ERA, and has allowed 4 home runs in 8 innings of work. So he's just getting absolutely pimped out by that lineup. He's been terrible on the road this season, including his last road start being at San Francisco and not even pitching a full inning of friggin' baseball. I mean, it truly doesn't get worse than that. On top of it, if we're just looking at playing the number here, the Braves on the season with the first 5 run line are 33-17. If you bet them every game, you'd be up 13.3 units with a 21.23% return on investment. Philadelphia is dead last against the first 5 run line this year, 18-32, down 20.4 units with a negative 32.8% return on investment. I just think that from a pure number playing standpoint, what is profitable and what isn't profitable this season, the Braves' first 5 run line is just a good bet, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that you got the team that's the best in first 5 run lines, first against 30th in first 5 run line return on investment. Can't argue with that. Toast, where are you sitting?
Yeah, you guys know me. I'm a Braves hater, so I got the Phillies on the money line at plus 135. Just because I hate the Braves. No, just seriously, I just honestly think that the pitching's a wash. I understand that the Phillies haven't hit left-handed pitching very well, but if they can even get a little bit off of Schuster and Taijuan Walker can keep them within a run or two, if you look at the Braves bullpen, Iglesias and Anderson have worked back-to-back nights, so they're not available. Minter, who's really like at a gas can at this point, if you ask me, he worked last night, so I pray to God he comes in tonight. Colin McHugh can come in. He's got an ERA at 3, but I'm not really worried about him. So I do think that the Phillies have a slight edge as we get later on into the game. So, like I said, if the only person that went last, or the 2 people that went last night for the Phillies was Dominguez and Soto, I hope Soto can't pitch tonight. I think that's more advantage to the Phillies. So it's just a half a unit play, but I am on the Phillies at a big plus price.
I mean, I don't hate it at that price. Hairston's on Atlanta first 5 run line again. He's been cleaning up every single day. He's in the comments taking that, and you just heard Prop Beaver's numbers. If you've been taking that, you've been cashing. So Next up.
That's why I looked at you. I was like, we going to the next one?
Yeah. I got to take the picks off the screen. Giants at Brewers. Okay, so I passed on this one on YouTube, but I was actually looking at the line movement, looking at some numbers this morning. This is turning into a bet that I like. It didn't quite make the top bets, but I'm on the Brew Crew here on the money line, minus 130. And it just, the planets aligned for me. Every single thing I was looking at this morning was pointing me towards Milwaukee. So first of all, Alex Wood is yet to make a good start this whole season, in case you're unaware. He's yet to pitch 5 innings yet this entire season. And the Giants bullpen just threw 9 innings yesterday. San Francisco had a bullpen day yesterday. They're going to be without that guy. I always say, I don't know if it's Eunice or Junis. They're going to be without him. They're without Taylor Rogers. That guy Brebbia, he threw 28 pitches last night. Most likely going to be without him. So you got a bullpen that just threw 9 innings yesterday. You're missing 3 pieces. With a guy on the mound for the Giants that's never pitched 5 innings this year. So San Francisco is going to need 5 strong innings out of their bullpen in this game. And that bullpen is thin as hell. I know their bullpen has actually been producing a little better than it was earlier in the season. But still, we're talking about 5 strong innings out of a bullpen that's razor thin. I know it's Milwaukee against a lefty. I know that's going to scare the shit out of you. But the fact that Alex Wood can't even count to 5, let alone pitch into the 5th, should ease your mind a little bit. So yeah, they're facing a lefty starter, but how many innings is that going to be for? Maybe 3 2/3, 4. This dude has not reached 5 innings all season. And then of course you got Freddie Peralta on the mound, and I know that I don't know about you personally, you the viewer. He's let me down a few times this year, but we still know that this dude's. We know that we can count on Freddie. He's going to come around. And I think at home against the Giants, that he coming off what's the final score? 5-0 last night. I like the Brewers to handle their business. And the line movement, it was at minus 130, moved up to minus 140, despite the action kind of coming in on the Giants. Public was heavy on Milwaukee early, but the stuff this morning's coming in on the Giants. So I got it at minus 130 on Caesars, I think, in FanDuel. So yeah, I'm on the Brew Crew.
Yeah, if Milwaukee even knew remotely how to hit a lefty, this would be like a top bet, but no, it's not. And they don't know how to hit lefty. So that's a bit concerning. But as Kyle said, Alex Wood has struggled, and he's also struggled in some really easy spots this year. So I don't exactly trust him against the Brewers lineup. I also know that Yelich and Ruff, who just recently signed with the team, have some amazing history against Wood. So maybe they could get that offense going early. It sounds nuts, but maybe Darren Ruff will be the cog in the machine that gets the Brewers going, gets lefties. I don't friggin' know. Probably not. And it's really just the length that he's going that's concerning for me. He's been banged up pretty much the entire season, failing to go deep into games consistently. And as Kyle said, that bullpen is completely taxed. The bullpen has been performing better lately, but on the season, we know that they're quite shaky. On top of that, with the amount of usage they just received yesterday, they could be a bit off. There also could be some familiarity from the lineup if they see him for a second straight time. And on the other side is Freddie Peralta. We were talking about on previous streams how the Giants bats like suddenly came to life and were just like smacking around these high profile pitchers like Wheeler, Walker, Alcantara, and Ober. But then look at their last 3 games. It seems like they're coming back down to earth. Sonny Gray held them to 2 runs through 5. Joe Ryan, while a bit lucky, may I say, held them to 1 run through 5. And then Julio Teheran comes back from the goddamn crypt yesterday and hangs 5 innings of 1-run baseball on them, striking out 5. So it's really, really hard to get to the Giants. The line movement makes me like the Brewers. So it won't be a heavy bet for me, but yeah, I'll go there. It's gross, though. It's freaking gross.
I'll put Brewers or pass for you. How's that? Go ahead, Toast.
Yeah, I'm all over the Brewers as well. I got a full unit on the Brewers. Like you said, for me, it's like a bullpen advantage. Like you already touched on, the Giants bullpen is a little bit taxed, and the Brewers bullpen is absolutely fresh. Williams, Pyaps, Sejereski, or however you say his name, all those guys are fresh. Didn't work yesterday at all. Regardless of if it's a 1-1 or 0-0 game going into the 5th or the 6th, I think the Brewers have the advantage, especially being at home.
Definitely. That was the same angle as me. The second half of this game, the Brewers just have such an advantage, even if you want to call Freddie Peralta versus Alex Wood a wash, which I don't even know if I do that. But even if you want to call it.
Yeah, with the Giants playing well right now, I can see it being like 3-1 Giants or 2-1 Giants or 1-0 Giants in the 5th or the 6th, and then the Brewers coming back and winning the game. That's not crazy. Yeah,
I agree. All right, let's move on to the next one. We are on Game 9. Twins, Blue Jays at Twins. I'm still on Minnesota. I really liked it last night. Don't like it as much today. It's turned out to be quite the public dog. And even though some action's starting to come in, it's easy in my mind. I'm still on Minnesota. If you saw the graphic I tweeted out, I put them on there. I'm betting it. I texted this bit out to my friends, so I'm endorsing it. It's just not as much as I liked it last night. In case you missed last night's video, a quick summary. Kevin Gausman has awful career numbers against Minnesota. He's got 9 career starts. He's 0-4 with a 6.36 ERA. He just never can beat these guys. Toronto's also lost 4 Kevin Gausman starts in a row, so they're not giving him run support. Twins are crushing right-handed pitching right now. They're second in the MLB in the last 14 days. So to me, on the road in Minnesota, all signs point to the Twins bats getting to Gausman. And then on the other side, and then in addition to that, Toronto, 11 straight division games they just had. Similar to the reason I like Texas over Baltimore, Toronto just had 11 straight division games and didn't just have those games. They went 2-9 in those games. So if you're talking about a team that's just emotionally defeated right now, not only are they just getting rocked, they're getting rocked in important games. I actually think a trip to Minnesota is probably like what the team needs to turn the energy around. But in the first game against Louis Varland, who's actually put together 3 solid starts in a row, I got to go with Minnesota here at the plus money. If this was a pick 'em, it would probably be a pass for me. At the plus 130, I think they're just great value.
Did you see what Paul Gretschy said? He said he doesn't think Correa, why did I say Correa? Correa or Gallo are playing. Got to confirm that right now. Tosh, you want to give your pick on the game while I look at that?
Yeah, I don't really have a play on it. There's no lineups released for the Twins yet, so it's a pass for me. I lean Toronto minus 1.5, but yeah, there's no way I'm betting it. And the only reason I lean that is because like Kyle said, Minnesota's pretty public. I know a lot of people on them. At some point, I do think that Gausman. I don't really worry about Gausman's history. I think he's a dark horse Cy Young guy personally. At some point, they're going to score runs for him. But yeah, I just can't bet this game.
Yeah, I'll just take a half unit stab with the Twins at simply put how bad the Blue Jays are playing right now. Yeah, Louis Varland, I think, is pretty solid. And if you look at the Jays' numbers recently, you'd think, wow, this offense is alive right now. That's just simply not the case. All of those numbers are skewed because they're 20-run outing against the Tampa Bay Rays. Want to hear something crazy? The last 13 of 14 righties to face Toronto have held them to 2 or less runs. 13 of 14. And Louis Varland has now recorded a quality start in 4 or 5 starts thus far. I think he could have a decent start here. On top of that, Kevin Gausman, yes, he is great and all, but he isn't exactly not prone to a blow up. I know they rarely happen, but he's already had 2 this season, both on the road where he was much better last season. And who says that he isn't to blow up here? He did have a game last year, although it was at home. He did get rocked by the Twins in one of his 2 starts last year. And then when it gets to the bullpens, I just feel like the Twins have the slight advantage. They didn't have to play yesterday, so they have most of their arms rested. And I know while the high leverage arms haven't gone for the Jays in over 5 days, they may have some rust to shake off. So I just think that at that plus price, it's hard to pass it up. I completely get what Toast is saying, where the public dogs do tend to lose. But I'll ride it out with this one.
Yeah.
Well, and then also on top of that, Gausman, those 2 starts, you're right. But the Minnesota got him in Toronto. They got him for Toronto for 9 hits in 3 2/3. And then when he went into Minnesota last year, he went 6 innings and blanked him.
I know. The only reason I mentioned that is because a couple times this year where Gausman has performed better at Boston pitching. Last year, he was lights out at Boston. He was lights out at Houston when he saw them past couple times. And then all of a sudden he visits them this year and he gets absolutely destroyed. So I just think that
Also, one thing I hate is that like there's narratives like they don't score runs when people pitch. Like they don't. Like if you go back and look at the game logs, it's all like 2s and 1s and stuff like that. Like I don't like playing into that stuff, but like at some point when it's true and you're going back and clicking, and every time these starts, it's like 2, 1, 3. It's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If a system play that I feel like I have right now in my pocket is every time Gasman's a huge favorite at home, just fade the life out of him. They do not give him any run support whatsoever. I'm talking 0, 1, 2 runs. That's what they're putting up. Remember that start against Casey last year where they were minus 400 favorites and lost the game?
Yep.
Exactly.
I do.
All right. So if you're just tuning in, you see this Minnesota money line plus 130. Just know, take it with a grain of salt. If you're looking for a nice dog to bet, wait about 3 more games. I got one for you. Let's move on to the next one. Washington at Kansas City. Another game that I liked it a lot more last night. I agree. Harrison said it in the comments before. He said, be careful with Patrick Corbin. He's coming back to life tonight, coming back to reality. And I could see that. But that still doesn't take away the fact that even if Patrick Corbin does come back to reality and get rocked a little bit, I still think Washington can win this game with Jordan Lyles pitching and the way the Nats have scored runs on the road. Basically this whole season, certainly the last month and a half. Keep in mind, Washington's 12-12 in the last 24 games. This team is not playing the type of baseball that most people expected to see them play. A lot of people had Washington pegged as one of the worst teams in baseball. And you know what? Maybe they are, but they're not playing like that right now. I'll read off the Corbin stats, although I agree it's only a matter of time, especially on the road before he comes back. But his last 4 starts, I mean, he's thrown like 25, 26 innings, 2.88 ERA. He's not pitching poorly right now. You want to know who is pitching poorly? The guy on the other dugout, Jordan Lyles, has started 10 games this year. The Kansas City Royals are 0-10 in those games. They've never once won a single Jordan Lyles start. And then look at the line movement here. Kansas City was minus 130 favorites. Books backtracked on that one, man. It's all the way down to basically a pick 'em. I'm on the Nats. I also could definitely hear a case for the over here, or maybe even a Washington team total over. But yeah, I'll play the Nats.
Yeah, I'm on the same thing. I didn't take the Nats on the money line. I just took their team total over 4.5 at minus 110. I mean, if you just take a look at Jordan Lyles, his last couple of starts, I mean, 4 runs, 7 runs, 4 runs, 6 runs, 7 runs, 4 runs. So, and this Washington team's been playing well. I mean, scoring runs themselves. The Nationals, the last couple of games, 6, 5, 4, 6, 5, 6. So I have no reason to think that the Nats can't be putting up runs tonight, not to mention Kansas City's bullpen, at least bottom 3rd in the league, depending on what metric you're looking at. So plenty of chances for the Nats to score runs tonight.
Yeah, I almost played them at 4 earlier today, minus 125. Wound up posting a different prop, and in the meantime, it moved from minus 125 to minus 167. So got priced out of the 4 there. The 4.5 was at plus money this morning. Now it's at near even odds, so I'm not really enthralled with betting that either. I'll just take the Nats at that low price. Yes, I know Casey's a bit better against lefties on the year, but look at the last 2 weeks. They're 28th in WRC plus against left-handed pitching. On top of that, Casey is dead last with a 26 WRC plus through the 6th to 9th innings over the last 2 weeks. So they are not hitting bullpens whatsoever. I understand that the Nats pen is quite weak, but I think they actually might have a solid outing here. The Nats have won Corbin's last 3 or 4 starts, and Kyle said they had a 2.88 ERA, but I want to more so focus on the 2.59 WOBA. That projects to be a lot less lucky than most would think. That's really, really solid, and he's putting up great numbers there. I know it's on the road, which is a bit scary with Corbin, but I'm willing to trust him here. On the other side, we got Jordan Lyles. I mean, Jesus Christ. Kyle already explained it. He's a complete and utter mess. Now he's going to face the Nats bats, who on the road against righties this season are surprisingly 10th in WRC plus, top 10 offense against righties. Also, in fact, they're averaging 4.82 runs per game on the road, a whole run higher than at home, and good for 8th best in baseball. Adding the Casey bullpen, the high leverage arms are lefties, including Chapman and Garrett. and that's a split the Nats have hit even better against, and I'm confident they score enough runs here to win this game. There's a reason the books are moving this to near even odds, despite the fact that more of the money's on KC. So, yeah.
Yeah, Corey Cook in the comments says he's taking KC team total under 4.5. Look, I'm a Patrick Corbin apologist. I respect your respect of Patrick Corbin, but you are a ballsy son of a bitch. I'll give you that. Patrick Corbin on the road it's a tough sell, but I like your enthusiasm. I like your energy. Let's move on to the next one. All right, Mets at Rockies. You know what? Let's let Toast start because I think he has a heater for you in this one.
Yeah. Sorry, the kid's going crazy in the background. Look, it's a system play for me. This is a spot that I really like to play the Rockies. Anytime you can get the Rockies when they played a series at home, and then they face a team coming into Colorado when they had to travel the next day, is a spot that I really like to take them. So Rockies money line plus 185 or whatever it is now. I like the Rocks. Not to mention, you take a look at Max Scherzer. The last 2 times he went to Colorado was not good at all. Let me pull it up really quick. Last 2 starts in Colorado, 9 innings and 9 runs. They were like a couple years ago, so it's not like it's like the same Max Scherzer, but I don't think he's gotten any better. So I'm on the Rockies tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate your point there. I didn't really look too much into this game because I think that the Mets are definitely playing better baseball right now, despite that ugly series loss to the Cubs. And also, I mean, Connor Siebold, you were looking good your first 2 starts, bud, but those last 2, I mean, Jesus H. Christ, it looks like he's returning back that 2022 Patrick Corbin form. So it's a pass for me. If I had to take a bet in this game, I'd probably go with Toast and either play that money line or take a Rockies team total over because the Mets bullpen really doesn't impress me either.
I passed on this one on YouTube last night. I'm not betting it, but if I were to bet it, it would just be the straight over. Playing the Coors Field Shuffle here at 11.5. Mets bat showing some signs of life, but mostly because I think Scherzer's a little overvalued, which sucks because I like him, but I mean, he is aging, and I mean, we haven't seen him look dominant for like multiple starts in a row where we could really trust that this dude is worth being priced like this. Hopefully he gets to that in the second half of the year, but I don't think he's warranted it thus far.
Rockies team total, yeah, my bad. Rockies team totals at 4.5 at plus 105 on Fox Bet. A book that doesn't work, but it is a book that offers the line. So if you want to bet that, I mean, at the plus money, either there or on points bet, I really wouldn't mind that look. I kind of agree with what Toast is saying. The Rockies bats against righties have definitely been a unit that I respect lately as well.
The only thing I wanted to add is that I get a lot of people that ask me why not take a plus 1.5. This is going to be game number 52 or 53 for the Rockies this year. They've played 12 run games. So they're either going to win or they're probably going to get their asses kicked. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Hopefully whatever happens, it goes over the total. Actually, I don't really care. I'm not betting it. So next game, Marlins at Angels. Last night on YouTube, I said Angels or pass. It's not even Angels or pass for me. It's just pass. I kind of get this weird feeling that Luzardo's going to pitch well, and I'm passing. No, if it was a pick, I might take the Angels, but no.
I think Kyle's absolutely tweaking. I think that there's no reason to pass up on the Angels' first 5 run line here at plus 100. We were talking earlier, and he says, if anything, he likes the first 5 under, which I definitely can understand from a fade Miami perspective, but I can't really get around the fact of fading the Angels bats at home, where they've been at home the last 3, 1 or 2 series now. Luzardo, in my eyes, on the road is not somebody I want to back. He's had 3 road starts this season. No, he's had 4 road starts this season. And let's go ahead and glance at some of these. So his last road start was against the Giants, a team that has struggled against lefties the entire season. He allowed 6 hits, 2 home runs, and 6 earned runs. Not great. Then he visited Arizona. Yeah, he only gave up 1 run, but he gave up 9 base runners. So I think he got a bit lucky in that start. Then he goes to Cleveland. What did he do there? The Cleveland we were just trashing earlier, he only made it 4.1 innings, allowing 8 hits, 2 home runs, and 4 earned runs. Again, what did he do against the Phillies, who can't hit lefties save their life? He allowed 9 base runners through 6 innings, along with 3 runs. And I watched that game. It should have been more runs. I just simply don't trust this dude on the road. And now we're getting near plus 100 to fade them through the first 5. The Marlins bats, I know, are definitely better against lefties this season, but let's look at some of the recent starters against them. They just went to Coors, so they got a nice little run boost, and they could not hit Kyle Freeland yesterday, who I thought was in an awful spot. They only got 2 runs off of him. They faced Austin Gomber, who's had massive struggles this season, only got 3 runs off of him. 2 runs off of Smiley, 1 run off of Steele. I just think that the bats aren't that impressive through the first 5, and then when you get to the later half of the game, that's when they'll make some noise. But through the first 5, I just see such a nice edge here for the Marlins. Sure, Detmers continues to allow runs, but if you go ahead and you click in at the game logs, he's allowing those mostly in the 6th inning. There's been a couple times this year where we back Detmers and he deals through the first 5 only to give up runs in the 6th inning. So at the plus 100 price, I mean, I don't know how one would pass that up. It didn't make the ticket because of this pig over here, but we'll survive.
Score's going to be 1-1 after 5 innings.
You're tripping.
Corey Cook is with you on the Angels. Angels money line. Toast, where are you at here?
You may have muted yourself.
You're muted.
Damn. My bad. I'm on the fish. I think you guys are tripping. Luzardo came into this Angel Stadium last year and absolutely shoved, went 5 innings, didn't give up a run, struck out 12 guys. The dude just has a ton of swing and miss stuff. I understand that he gives up home runs and every once in a while. But like Beaver said, Marlins hit left-handed pitching really well. And to that point, just on the year, the league average for WRC plus is 100. The Marlins have 7 guys with a WRC plus over 110 on the year, including guys like Garrett Hampson, De La Cruz, Birdie, Fortes, Cooper, Soler. They just really smashed left-handed hitting. That doesn't even take into account guys like Luis Ariz, who just it's a 78, but you can still trust him. The Miami bullpen does scare me a wee bit, but I'm all over the fish today. I just think that this is too good of a price to pass up for me.
Now, I got to ask you a few things, Toast. I feel like we in the past have faded teams coming off a series at Coors, and they're fresh off a series at Coors.
I get it.
And then on top of that, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 7 lefties to face the Angels have not hit their strikeout prop, with multiple of these guys going below 4 Ks. So I just think that these are 2 very different situations from this year and last year. Luzardo on the road last year was a beast. Luzardo on the road this year is not a beast. The Angels last year were 29th in WRC plus against lefties at some points. This year, they're a top 5 team against lefties. I just think that it's just a completely different world that we're living in for this season and this situation. And I don't know. I'm just need to share that. We'll see.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point from Beaver. That is a Toast thing too. He likes to fade teams coming out of Coors. But also where I think Beaver's maybe misstepping a bit, saying we're in a different world. Luzardo's made 4 road starts. I don't consider that a huge sample size. That's why the play is first 5 under.
What's on the back of your baseball card is what I always go say. What's on the back of his baseball card? He's on all right. He'll be all right.
He's a trick-ass thought is what's on the back of his baseball card. That's his fun fact.
He's a sneaky lizard that can change colors. You never know what you're going to get.
He literally just called Luzardo a trick-ass thought. All right.
I don't even know what that means.
Neither do I.
Okay, cool. At least I don't feel that old then.
All right, next game, Houston at Oakland. Give me the Oakland A's plus 2.5 at minus 125. Bro, if you're going to give me plus 2.5 at minus 125 in an MLB game, I'm taking it 100% of the time.
I like it.
Not to mention, Houston is 1-4 in their last 5 games in Oakland, including a 3-game sweep. You got to keep in mind, I know that you look at this and you see an elite team against a trash team. This is a division rivalry here, and that shit's always weird.
It's not a rivalry.
Yes, it is. They're division rivals, are they not?
No. To have a rivalry, you have to beat the other team. No, get out of here.
Yeah.
I like your bet, but I'm not going to give you to say that the Astros think that the A's are rivals.
Well, would you call the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Commanders rivals?
Yeah,
the Washington hasn't been better than Dallas in forever.
Okay.
These are division rivals. Don't listen to that shit. These are division rivals. And division rivalries are fucking weird, man. And you're giving me plus 2.5 in that shit. And by the way, in case you've never heard of my man James Capp, he's the Astros daddy. He is the Astros daddy. This man, have you seen this man's numbers? The Astros lifetime, 8 of 40 off J Cap with just 2 extra base hits. They can't even reach the outfield off Cap. I don't have the nutsack to bet the money line. I would love to, but I'm gonna hit this pretty heavy. Oakland plus 2.5, minus 125. I don't know how in the world these aren't division rivals. I'm blown away by that. The rivalry disappears if one team's bad. No, these are division fucking rivals.
Well, one thing I will say about what Toast was saying is that like one team has to beat the other team for them to be rivals. Well, one thing I will say is in the last 5 games they headed to Oakland, they lost, including a 3-game sweep at Oakland last year. And in my personal opinion, the Astros of 2022 are far better than the Astros of 2023 right now. And what's really concerning me is what the Astros bats did the last 2 games. Those are 2 spots where I really thought they could be able to put up some runs. Colin Rea's worst spot at home against righties has sucked, blanked their asses. Adrian Hauser, worst spot at home against righties. What does he do? He blanks them, along with a Milwaukee bullpen that truthfully hasn't been that great this season. So I'm just a bit concerned about the Astros bats right now. And I don't really think they all of a sudden wake up here. As Kyle was saying, Caprillion, I don't know if I'd call him the Astros papa, but he's pitched extremely well against them. 583 OPS and 200 OBA through 40 at-bats, which is really impressive. And if Caprillion was able to deal against Houston while their bats were hot about a week ago, what's to say they don't continue their slump against Caprillion here while they're cold? Now I'm going to say it's hard to argue against Hunter Brown getting hit up here. I like him quite a bit. But he is very young, and he's going to be facing the squad for the 2nd straight start. So maybe with some familiarity, the Oakland bats could break through. I'm not going to knock down the door and say Oakland's going to score that many runs here. But if you're going to get 2.5 runs at this price, with the Astros who've tended to play down to their competition in Oakland as of late, I can't pass that up.
According to Toast, the Yankees and Red Sox are no longer rivals because the Red Sox only won 74 games last year. So
I would argue for a lot of the time the Yankees and Red Sox rivalry is built up in the media. Like the Yankees usually just smack them up for the most part.
There's no such thing as rivalries according to Toast.
Just saying. I'm just saying I had never heard that before. It threw me for a little bit of a loop. That being said, I hope you guys win your 2.5 bet. Just give me, I'm stealing a book out of Beaver's page, actually. Give me Hunter Brown to record a win at plus 115. I'm going to continue to bet against the A's in some way, shape, or form, if possible. I will say it does bother 2 things that Beaver said I completely agree with. Astros do tend to play down to competition. And then with Brown seeing this team for the 2nd straight time in a row and the fact that he is young does concern me a little bit. So I'll just take the plus money at a half unit. If Brown pitches well, like I think he does, I think I win the bet.
At plus money to fade Oakland is never a bad bet. I will say that.
Yo, did you see Hideki define the word thought in the comments?
I actually didn't even know that was it. That how over there? Good call, Hideki.
That over there. Thanks, Hideki. Let's move on to the next one. Oh man, Oakland and Houston are division rivals. I'm mind blown by that. They're in the same division. They're rivals. They play each other 20 to 1 time. Well, not this year, but.
So according to you, that everybody plays in division's a rival? Is that what that is?
As long as they've been in the same division.
What's the point of using the word rival if everybody's a rival in division? Just say division game.
Division rivalry.
All right.
Boston at Arizona. Snakes. Give me the motherfucking snakes. Without a... Yo, you probably just blew speakers out
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, that was kind of fucked up. I didn't realize the repercussions of what I just did.
Yeah, so it sounds like all three of us are on the Snakes. All right, reasoning. Very simple here. Same thing I said on YouTube last night. Chris Sale's been dealing, but against who? On the road, he's had 4 good starts in a row. 3 of those starts are against teams that can't hit left-handed pitching. He did have 1 good start against St. Louis, and he deserves credit for that. But overall, 1 good start is not enough to change my mind about what we've seen from Chris Sale this year. On the road in Arizona is a really tough spot. For anyone, let alone Chris Sale right now. I think the Snakes definitely get to this guy. And the Boston bats, I'll let Beaver tell you about it, but the Boston Red Sox bats are they've disappeared, man. Give me the Snakes money line plus 120, definitely.
Yeah, so I like 2 bets for this game. I like the D-backs money line at the plus price. And I also I'll call him Brandon Thought. Give me Brandon Thought over 4.5 Ks at minus 122 on FanDuel. I think this is going to be the Brandon Thought breakout show. I really think that he's going to have a very nice, solid outing here. And it's less so because of him and more so because of just how putrid of baseball that the Boston Red Sox are playing right now. So let's just go ahead and talk about these guys. Sox are 27th in WRC plus against righties over the last 2 weeks. And even when they had a golden spot against Tyler Anderson, a guy who stinks at home right now, a guy who's been struggling this entire season, a lefty, which they've been top 10 against over the last 2 weeks in the last month, they absolutely choked. They're averaging 1 run per game over the last 4. That was against Michael Wacha, Jamie Borea, Griffin Canning, and the aforementioned Tyler Anderson. That is really, really sad considering how bad the Angels bullpen has been pitching as well. Now, I know they're going to have Sale on the mound for Boston, a man who's on fire right now, but who the hell has he even seen lately? His last 3 or 4 starts have been against teams that don't have a goddamn clue how to hit a left-handed pitcher. On top of that, the D-backs, on the other hand, are heating up against lefties, with the last 8 to face them combining for an ERA north of 6+. The D-backs bullpen has been better than Boston's in almost every conceivable way as of late. And at the plus price, I think it's hard to pass up on the Snakes. In terms of the strikeout prop, Brandon Thought is 3-1 to the under this year. So why do I like his over? Well, because Boston has sneakily been striking out a lot more against righties. Let's go ahead and look at some righties against them. Griffin Canning just had 5. He had never hit 5 on the season to that point. The books hung 4.5 on everybody to take the under. They trapped their ass and they hit 5. Jamie Borea, a guy who's a reliever, hit 6. Joe Musgrove, 6. Luis Castillo, 6. George Kirby, 6. And Michael Wacha even had 4. So everybody's hitting that 4+ number against them. The last 7 to 10 have gone over against them. And on top of that, if we're looking over the last 10 days, there's 7 bats in the Boston lineup with a K percentage over 23%. There's 5 with a K percentage over 25%. And there's 3 with a K percentage over 30%. So I think that there's a lot more K targets in this lineup than usual. Also, I think that Boston's being priced in terms of a K spot. This is a full season game. I feel like that's where you can find the best edges against the books, is when a team that on the season is 3rd in K percentage like Boston is all of a sudden now letting guys over their total and is just whiffing at a higher rate. So I personally, at the minus 122, I'd play it. I got it at minus 115 today. And most books have it around minus 150. So if you're on FanDuel, that's the place to bet it. If not, just pass. Yeah, that's my thoughts on this game.
The one guy said, so Sale can't pitch against Arizona. Who the hell are they? They have one of the best records in the NL. They've won 9 of their last 12. They've been killing it. Tosai, you're assuming you're on the Snakes. You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything because there was nothing nice about that guy. But yeah, the Snakes, I just think that I really can't add to anything you guys said. The only thing I can tell you, Red Sox in the bottom 5 in the last week for WRC plus with a 47 WRC plus. The league average is 100. It's just so bad. So even if Sale does dominate, and with the Boston bullpen, I don't really trust them anyway. So with the day off, some people can say, oh, they had a day off, they're rested, but it really doesn't matter. This Arizona team seems to be playing much better at home. And those FOT numbers, I think that he's one of those guys that you're going to see up and down games, but definitely for sure. But he's going to continue to get better. And I definitely think when you're playing the Boston Red Sox, it's a definitely up spot for him. So maybe a couple ticks up on the velocity. But yeah, I really think that he competes tonight.
We're all in agreement on Arizona. Like it.
You put 4.5 Ks. It's 3.5 Ks.
I was trying to give you a
doing you an
challenge.
outline.
Yeah, I know. This guy's trying to get me a losing record on the tube. That's pretty disrespectful.
Take your extra goddamn strikeout. I'm still laughing at someone that have watched the show. Be like, hey, man, who are you betting tonight? Like, oh, I was going to bet the Marlins, but I watched this betting show and the guy called Luzardo a trick-ass thought. All right. Shit. Pirates at Mariners. Tell me, like, I need someone to come take my phone and prevent me from betting the Pirates money line with Keller on the mound here because I want to so bad, but I know it's the wrong play. I love Mitch Keller. I passed it. I might tweet something out later, but I want to pull the trigger and take the Pirates to, like, what is it, plus 126 or something? I want it. Can't do it. George Kirby at home. George Kirby's really good, so I'm passing.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Keller over 6.5 Ks here. You can get that at minus 125 on BetMGM. I'm gotta be honest, I'm a bit less excited about it than when I posted it earlier today. Still got some decent CLV, but yeah, it just feels weird. One thing I will say is, though, every time I look at Mitch Keller's line, I sit there and I'm like, all right, the books must have caught on by now. I'll pass. And every time this man goes out there and just throws gems, I refuse to sit on the sidelines this time, especially against Seattle, because this team owns the 5th highest whiff percentage on the season, 13th highest chase rate. And then if we're looking at them over the last 30 days, they're striking out at the 3rd highest rate, 26.2% against righties. During the span, we've seen several arms with 7+ against Seattle, including Brian Bello, Alex Faedo, John Gray, Christian Javier, Chris Bassett, Kevin Gausman, Alek Manoah, and Jack Flaherty. I would argue that only Kevin Gausman has better stuff than Mitch Keller this season. And all of those guys were able to hit 7+ against him. Keller's hit 8+ now, I believe, in 6 of 8 starts. And with the and another angle I like working for us is that the majority of the Seattle lineup hasn't seen Keller stuff. J-Rod, France, Hernandez, Kelenic, Trammell, Raleigh, and Pollock have all never seen Keller, and the Mariners that have seen Keller own a combined 26K percentage against him. I haven't backed him up against sus lines in the past, like I said to start the video, but I just think that there's no reason to not back this man. It's kind of like DeJounte Murray PRAs last year. They just could not stop the guy from going over no matter what line they set. And ballparkpal.com, whose projections I definitely earned my respect last season with some of their calls. They have him projected for 7.9 Ks today and think this should be priced near minus 227. So at the minus 125, I just think there's too much value to pass up. Would I be surprised if some bullshit happens and it loses because I'm amidst the dirtiest cold streak in props right now? Possibly, but I'm riding with it.
All right. Toast, you have a play for this one?
Yeah, I'm all over the under 7. If it moved to 6.5, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's what I got it at. That's what I played. These two guys are just fantastic pitchers that both actually go deep into the games. I mean, just taking a look at what Mitch Keller has done, just to add to what Beaver's done, he's gone 6 innings or more in 6 of his last 7 starts, a couple of those 9 innings, or sorry, just one of those 9 innings, and not giving up more than 3 runs, only giving up 3 runs in one of those. And then on the back of that, with Bendar back there and stuff for Pittsburgh, I like that. And I don't really trust the Mariners offense too much right now. And then Kirby, the same type of thing. He's been going 6-7 innings on all of his starts. He's given up 3 runs twice, both on the road. One of them was to Atlanta, so you get a kind of a pass there with me. And then the other one, the aberration, was to Oakland. So I think this is a 2-1, 3-2 game, something like that. At the end of it, it's under for me.
So get straight, Al. Do I like Kirby's K over? I don't mind it if you want to play it from the perspective that he's heating up right now to start the season.
What's the number?
It's at 5.5 minus 105 for the over. So it's definitely tempting if you like Kirby, but it kind of reeks a little bit trappish to me, and I'll explain why. He's gone over his last 4 or 5 starts after that rough start to the season. He's averaging around 6 Ks per game, but now he's going to be facing Pittsburgh, who the last 5 righties to face them, including Nate Eovaldi, who was on a legitimate kill streak, and Zach Gallen, who was on a legitimate kill streak. Those two combined for 7 Ks. Combined. Nate Eovaldi and Gallen, 7 Ks combined against this team. Last 5 righties to face them have gone under. And while they did have a little bit of a spree where they were allowing some K overs, mostly on the season, this has been a very profitable team to bet unders against. It was juiced to the over for Kirby to start the day. Now it's juiced to the under. So all things are pointing to a under spot besides his recent hit rate. So I'm just going to pass.
Yeah, that when as soon as you said 5.5, because I love George Kirby, I watch almost all of his starts, and I was like, man, that's high because he's had a lot. But if the Pirates have any chance, they're going to have to get after him early tonight because if they start getting in 0-2 counts after fouling balls off and stuff like that, they're never going to have a chance.
Yeah, and that graphic on the left, Toast, that's where the line's open. So it opened at 6.5. It's at 7 now. We make the graphics the night before, so we just have to use the opening line because they're just going to change.
No, I get it. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's at 7. Yeah, well, it seems like the odds makers like the under 2 there. That's why it's at 7. So, anyone hit parlay, strikeout parlay, or should we just skip right to the community?
Skip to the community.
Community parlay. If you've never watched the show before, everyone throw their favorite parlay leg into the comments, and we will build a parlay together. Get the sportsbook open.
These are usually very high EV.
Regardless of the hit rate, the EV is there.
EV's off the charts, so I mean that's really what it comes down to. As long as you're getting EV, guys.
After your comments today, if I'm in the viewership, I'm throwing like Luzardo over outs, Luzardo to score to win. I mean, you called him a trick-ass thought.
He is a trick-ass thought. I mean, of course, every time I call these pitchers out, they go out and throw a gem. I mean, the last time I had a screaming attack about Brad Keller's bitch ass, he went out and dealt. So maybe. I mean, maybe. We didn't bet it, thankfully, so I don't have to worry about a bet I forced on the ticket losing. But still like those Angels through the first 5.
I like the first 2 legs. Cardinals and Brewers. Twins money line. Doyers. Does that say Doyers?
Yeah, that's what California people call the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Boston money line. There we go. There's 4.
That just makes me wonder every time I say Doyers, like East Coast people like probably think I'm an idiot then.
I mean, I met a kid in college and he introduced the term Doyer to me. He was from Cali and I was like, dude, what the fuck are you saying? You sound like a fool. But I mean, I don't know, kind of caught on at a point. Even I call him the Doyer sometimes now. So the odds on that one is a chunky plus 1273. I've been thinking about these community parlays lately, by the way, and maybe we just need to make it 3 legs. I feel like we're a little bit overextending ourselves with these 4 legs. I mean, but the one thing I will say, as long as they're positive UV, which all of these are,
we're not dropping it down to 3 legs. That's the behavior of a quitter.
I do have a total base prop I like tonight.
All right, let's hear it.
Charlie Blackmon, good old Uncle Charlie, to come through over 1.5 total bases at plus 100. In Colorado against Max Scherzer, 19 plate appearances, a 6.11 OPS, but 2 homers. I think Uncle Charlie can get it done tonight.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say a 608 OPS?
I said 6.11, not much better.
Oh, well, why? Are you banking on a home run?
No, I'm just banking on the fact that he's at home. He has his career numbers are like a 3rd times better than all of those. And the fact that I don't really think that Scherzer looks good tonight at all. I'll take my chances with a guy that continues to get rip singles too.
Maybe this is why I lose all my total bases props, because that's a lot sharper than anything I played this entire fucking season. So
you know me, I love my total bases.
Yeah, I know. You're pretty good at them. You're way better than I am at them. So yeah, good luck to you. I like that play.
I still don't understand why they call them the Doyers. The hell is that?
Because that's what some people that don't speak English sometimes that's how that comes across when they're speaking.
Oh my god, so it's a slur? We can't even say it now.
I speak multiple languages, or at least familiar in a few, and there's none that make a DODG sound like Doyer. None. So that sounds like a load of fucking bullshit.
I'm telling you how it was explained to me. I don't really ever say the Doyers unless I'm like happy or whatever. Like it's just kind of one of those things that just comes out. But yeah,
the West Coast people are just weird as shit. all right, we're done. It's after 5. I need to get these bets down. Loaded night. I'm sure Toast will be active on Twitter. We'll definitely be active on Twitter. So make sure to all the Twitter names are right there, by the way. Let me move the community parlay so you can see prop beavers. You can follow us, and if you want, I don't care either way. So let's bet responsibly tonight. Let's make some money. No NBA, so we're hitting MLB heavy. Have a good one. And tomorrow, I'll let you know if we're going to come live at 11 a.m. before the games. Saturday's weird because some of the games start at night, so I don't really like giving out all the final picks at 11 a.m. So me and Prop Eva are going to upload a video tonight with a bunch of stuff, and then I'll let you know if we're going to go live. So everyone, have a great night. Toast, thanks for joining.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.